Local authorities will have to go to court to disconnect water supply over unpaid charges. Ministerial talks with Sinn Féin are put off again. The British government says it needs more information. And at Lansdowne Road, no crowd problem, but a disappointing draw for the Republic. Good evening. Also in 6-1, the Taoiseach visits the European Commission.
People living close to Mullaghmore say they're devastated by the decision not to build the visitor centre.
Fierce clashes between Israelis and Palestinians on the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. Congress of Trade Unions votes 5-1 for new national agreement negotiations. And Dublin meeting of EU Justice Ministers agrees joint approach to paedophile murders. Good evening, thanks for joining us.
Disagreement over a Northern Assembly further delays George Mitchell's draft agreement. Irish Steel investigates alleged fraud at its plant at Hallbowlan in Cork. And the 14-year-old homeless boy who's been on the streets of Dublin for a year. Good evening, welcome to 6-1.
The 6-1 News with Bryan Dobson and Úna O'Hagan.
77 feared dead after a Russian airliner flying from Israel explodes over the Black Sea.
Tony Blair visits Moscow and presents evidence of links between US hijackers and bin Laden.
At least 3 of these hijackers have already been positively identified as known associates of bin Laden.
The Sellafield expansion, the Taoiseach says Britain's decision is entirely unreasonable.
And the economic downturn deepens. House prices in Dublin fall by 4%.
Good evening and welcome to 6-1.
It's 6-1. RTÉ News with Bryan Dobson and Úna O'Hagan.
Minister for Justice announces a referendum on citizenship for babies born to foreign nationals here.
Tom Gilmartin, the property developer, tells the Mahon Tribunal of repeated threats to his life.
A significant victory for carers as a profoundly disabled boy wins the right to 50 hours of home care a week.
I'm pleased with the settlement that was offered. You know, it means that I can bring my son home.
And further transport chaos looms nationwide with strikes to hit bus, rail and air services next week.
Good evening and welcome to 6-1.
It's 6-1. RTÉ News with Bryan Dobson and Sharon Ní Bheoláin.
Tonight, exclusively on 6-1, Taoiseach Bertie Ahern on how much he was paid and by whom. Mr Ahern details payments of nearly £40,000 he received in loans that he's yet to pay back.
I always seen them as loans. I didn't see them as any risk other than friends at a time of need.
Also on tonight's 6-1, Kieran Hawley's Celtic Helicopters settles a tax bill of nearly €750,000. And a County Louth bank official is kidnapped and forced to withdraw up to €1 million from a Dublin bank.
Good evening and welcome to 6-1.
It's 6-1. RTÉ News with Bryan Dobson and Sharon Ní Bheoláin.
Day of reckoning. Bankers' pay packets finally take a hit. Irish Life and Permanent, the first to announce substantial cuts for top executives.
The Taoiseach indicated last week that he expects to see reductions of at least 25% in senior executive pay and directors' remuneration.
And in tonight's other main headlines, 13,000 civil servants to ballot for industrial action over the government pension levy.
The decision of the Executive Committee is to have a one-day strike on Thursday, the 26th of February.
In Australia, over 170 people die in bushfires. Arson is suspected.
There's no words to describe it, other than it's mass murder.
And 46 people have been charged with violent disorder following last summer's riots in Mullingar.
Hello and welcome to Tuesday's 6-1.
The headlines this evening. Not up for negotiation. Outrage as Arlene Foster claims Good Friday Agreement could be changed to get a Brexit deal.
The government stands by the Good Friday Agreement and will defend its primacy.
A clampdown on child abuse material. Gardaí raid over 30 homes across 12 counties.
Over 100 targets have been identified who we suspect are involved in the online exploitation of children.
Conflict over pay and conditions. Soldiers and sailors buy themselves out of the Defence Forces.
This year we've actually had over 118 personnel purchased or discharged.
And the end of a long road. Galway City Bypass finally gets the go-ahead. Well, that is the 6-1 News for today. So from all of the team here, thank you for watching.
We'll be back with you again tomorrow, but until then, have a lovely evening.
Bye-bye.